Ready? All right, so we will start with the public hearing for Gulfstream Development. We'll call the public hearing to order at 10:08. Justin, do you want to give a summary of this project?
Oh, sure, yeah, just open the hearing. It's being held in connection with an application from Gulfstream Developers, LLC. You're familiar with the project associated with the redevelopment of 100 Hospital. Quick summary is that there's proposed 86 individual one-bedroom residential buildings to be rented to persons 55 years or older for the comprehensive redevelopment of that site. They've applied to the IDA for a payment in lieu of tax agreement, sales tax exemptions, and mortgage reporting tax exemptions. They've been through the city planning board for approvals, including a seeker review. It's about a $17 million capital investment for that residential housing project. And the proposed pilot terms and cost-benefit analysis are here for review. At this point, we're just opening the floor for any public comment on the proposed application and benefits. And once the hearing's closed and the motion's made, the board can ask any questions and receive an update from the developer. So defer to the chair and the floor on any comments.
Do we have anybody? No, we don't have anyone. So. All right, so I don't think we have any public comments. Comments from the board. All right.
So it's going to start off at 11,000 for $17 million project quote. It's going to have a appraised value of like 17 million. We're going to start off at like 12 grand and add taxes for the first year. And I just think these numbers should be higher, especially coming at the back end. Like,
right. We're just looking for hearing comments right now.
Yeah.
We don't want to have the
This isn't
record full of.
resolution.
We can ask questions during the motion during the regular meeting.
oh, okay.
So yeah,
all right.
just to keep the
okay, all right.
balance straight.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but we can close the hearing, and then once we get into the motion, we can talk about some of the details. And
Okay,
Randy
all right.
maybe can answer some of your questions.
All right, no public comments, then we will close this hearing at 10:11. All right, moving us along, we will do approval of minutes from the last board meeting. We do have a quorum, we do. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, on to the executive director's report. Randy.
Okay, so a couple things to talk about. 74 new turnpikes on the new business, so we'll talk about that then. That's one project that hopefully we're making some progress on. I've had some preliminary discussion with an owner of 8084 Jefferson Road. It's at the corner of Jefferson and 3rd. It's an old, very interesting looking building that the owner has put some money into the building to shore it up and put a roof on it, but he wants to convert it into 8 to 9 housing units, and he's approached us about potential IDA benefits. So I've talked with him about the process, pointed him to the application, and let him know there's a process, that there's fees involved, and so they can make a decision if they want to move forward.
How many units?
8 to 9.
Is that a big enough project?
The scale might not suggest that the IDA is the best vehicle, but once we see the budget, maybe you can make a determination and kind of pencil it out, see if it makes sense.
Okay. Well, that did come to mind. I don't know. I didn't see anything in our policy procedures that addresses the size of the project.
Well, at some point, if it's small, it doesn't make a lot of sense. There may be a marginal, it's really, Sharon was here, but it's a marginal break if, I don't know what it's assessed at now, but what's it gonna be reassessed at?
Right.
What would the pilot do? There may be nominal benefits there, but IDA in the past has done just sales tax only,
Yeah, it's,
Right.
as a way
Yeah.
to give them some benefits without all the complexity.
Right.
And kind of, it's cheaper to get there.
Well, I pointed him to the application, I pointed him to the fees.
Right,
And
yeah,
I pointed him to, once we have that draft application, we can sort of pencil out some potential benefits, and then
Right.
he can make a decision as to whether or not he wants to move forward.
right. If it's typical remodel and it's 9 units, a couple $100,000 apiece, call
Well-
it 1.8 million, I don't know, maybe there's
yeah.
$1 million in materials going into it, and there's 80,000 in savings, something like that.
Yep.
It might be worthwhile for him to do
Right.
something like that.
Right, okay, so that's good feedback, thank you. But that's something, the pilot billing letters are out. Thank you for Janae for getting those letters out. I've heard no response. I don't know if anyone else has. So hopefully that's behind us. I've had some discussions with this gentleman, Isaiah Friedman. I don't know if anyone knows who he is. He owns properties at 35 Congress, I guess was the former Troy Light Factory.
Oh.
And 223 8th Street, the former Church on the Hill up by RPI. He approached me about sort of helping him broker his properties to find tenants, and I had to remind him that we're administrators, not brokers. But he is, anyways, that's just an item that I got pulled into. The Bella Vita project is something I'd like to talk to everyone in executive session. We're still talking about some confidential financial information in regards to that project, so we'll come back to that. This week I went to a ceremony, Danae and I went to a ceremony with 504 Broadway. They did their topping off ceremony for their new platinum certified professional offices building, and I guess ground floor is going to be a restaurant, and there's going to be some space for temporary residents. And at the same time, I did a tour of the 1818 Fifth with Jeff Morrell of Rosenblum. I just bring these up because it's good to see these projects up and running, and IDA's involvement was no small part in helping those happen. I'm still working on a project to try to get a lot of our information on the pilots, all of our pilots, which were in the 46 range at the moment. Get the data into a database and set up the database in a way that might make it a little easier to manage the information. This is a project that I'm not really a database person, but I'm learning. I'm putting a lot of time into it. I'm not billing for it at the moment, but I'm just in the interest of transparency. If this works, I may want to come back and bill for it.
Are you doing it in Excel?
In Access database.
Oh,
So that's pretty much it for my executive director's report.
Perfect. Thank you. I know a thing or two about databases, so if you have questions, let me know.
Oh, I may have lots of questions.
It's a big chunk of my job. All right, on to new business. Let's start with the project
Can I ask
authorizing.
you just one question? How many accounts are you looking at?
We have, I think, 47 total projects.
Okay.
46 of them are pilots. One is just a sales tax only project.
Okay.
But right now, all of the information is just managed in spreadsheets, and it's just like, there's no way to do, like, so if I want to know how many housing units have been done,
Yeah.
you know, and
You
based
can't
on all the
roll that
projects.
up.
You know, I can't, it'd take me forever it's like it's taken me now to get it into a database, to figure out any kind of analytical question about anything that we're doing. And so having it in a database, if we can get successful at that, then, we'll just be in a better position.
If someone were to ask you in the year 2030, what's the financial contribution of all the IDA deals that we have, in one total sum, would you be able to answer that?
I will if I'm successful with this database.
I mean, like today you couldn't tell, right?
And not easily.
You could take days to go through the applications and look
Yeah.
at the actual, you know, building permits and then see which actually been closed and which ones have COs, and you could probably extrapolate how many units have been constructed in the last 10 years and what the aggregate investment was. I think those are the top level data points you want, right? Those are
Yeah, well,
relevant, right?
yeah.
Well, I think that's like the first public consumption question, and anyone walking the street would ask, well, how much money is this generating for the
Right.
tax, for the city?
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
You know, if we
How much
can't do that,
investment
then
have you induced in the last, you know, X number of years,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna move us on to new business. All right, so first item of new business is the project authorizing resolution for Gulfstream Developers. Do we want to start, Albert, I know you have some questions, so do you wanna start with board comments and discussion?
Yeah, just before you start, I just wanted to hopefully there's nothing wrong based upon your review. But I did share this with a couple members of the board in advance, you know, which I sort of process-wise, it's like have a subcommittee look at it, and give me any comments, and most of the comments that I received were supportive. I've talked with Anthony about it, from my viewpoint and other projects that we've done. This looks like a fair and reasonable proposal that would be supportive of Gulfstream Developers and help ensure that the project is can get undertaken.
Anthony, have you applied for a building permit yet? You did. And when does it, when was it officially issued?
I have my site work building permit, I got that in December. My actual structural building permits that I applied for them a couple weeks ago, there was just some comments back from, the architectural, I think, as far as, you know, front plans and stuff like that. I just got that back from the architect on Tuesday, but I have resubmitted it.
I just had some issues with the numbers. At the end of this 15 years, I mean, at the next year, his taxes could go up 30%. I mean, that's just a huge jump, and
But isn't that
from 15 to year 6, I guess it's a huge jump in taxes. It's a huge jump in his expenses from, well, you gotta come back and ask for another pilot after year 15. That's a huge jump.
Extensions don't generally happen unless they add on or, you know, double the project, or like we've done in the past, we've done like with Bonaccio at 200 Broadway, we extended a pilot only because they're reinvesting, so.
So we're
all
not
pilots
here,
end at some point, yeah.
we're not like here to refinance projects in a way, we're
Right.
to get them off the
We
ground.
support an inducement, an investment in the first instance, and they run their course. If they do reinvest, that's happened on this building several times, where they've come through and done a major renovation, and in exchange for that investment, the IDA will extend a pilot. In this particular case, this will be built out. I don't know that there's gonna be another phase of this project. It's kind of running out of land, right? But
But there has to be another project.
right, yeah, exactly.
That's just a huge, that's $100,000 gonna be, after this, you know, his tax is gonna jump like $100,000 in a year.
that kind of the case with
That happens with every pilot, I
every
imagine.
pilot?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think it's, to soften the blow, I'm looking at,
Well, with proper financial management, they should be able to do it.
Do you have any additional questions or comments?
I just, one thing that Albert had mentioned, like when you look at the first year, the payment's very low. Is that because no one will be living there?
Well, it's gonna take time to get you this kind of.
So it's kind of like prorated, starting at that low of a level?
I think that
Well, no, this is full, the pilot is fully constructed assumption, right? That the first payment is low because all the added value is abated.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your question?
It just, I mean, but there are people who own residence in Troy that pay that much for their taxes.
that's what, how does this benefit the
So
community? That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, the point of a pilot is to provide an inducement
Oh, yeah.
to the
Yeah.
project.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
don't give them a discount, that's not what
Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm just saying,
And it gradually goes up. That's, you know, it's land that was previously, there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
So, stepping up the, you know, assessed value and tax payments just seems like a good thing, and doing it in a gradual way seems,
and they'll be raising rents gradually too.
What is it currently assessed at? You know,
The land.
yes,
I don't know, that year one is what the current tax rate is.
Yeah,
That's
typically
2027.
under our policy, we freeze where taxes are now, so we don't go backwards. So the taxing jurisdictions don't have a budget hit because we're helping. We maintain that
260.
base value.
260 is
Yeah,
the
it's $260 right now, and that's what the $11,000 is generated off of. And the IDA abates future value, so whatever the assessor assigns for value to this post-construction, that's what we're abating.
okay.
And the schedule of abatement here, you'll see that the amount of pilot payments increase because our abatement burns off over time, so. In general, as a 15-year pilot, it's a reasonable length for the developer, but it's a little bit more conservative. You know, we're not doing 20, we're not doing 25. So it seems like a fair shake, but.
Yeah, that's just my concern.
Any other questions or comments?
I want to just throw a couple of things out there because that site's been some contention for that neighborhood for quite a while, and I know a lot of folks who live down there, and we speak frequently about it. And, you know, it's an old tract of land that has been a sore spot in that neighborhood for a long time. We're bringing in like a potential of 86 tenants at an age group that doesn't place a lot of stress on public safety mechanisms like the police, the fire department, public works, that kind of stuff. It's an improvement to the neighborhood, and there's slow and I would say steady increases in revenue for, you know, our school district and, you know, the city. So there's some positives there. They're not necessarily all tangible, but it is a big plot of land that's currently vacant that this is mostly, conversations that I have is mostly a welcome opportunity to develop.
Historically, the hospital was exempt, and then the city, taking it for taxes, it was exempt.
Yeah.
So over time, it hasn't, I mean, I don't know how many years, how long was Leonard there? The 50s, I think?
It was there when I was 12 and broke my arm.
Right, so,
Yeah.
Demoed about 6 years ago.
Yeah, so it's been vacant and then had no tax revenue and.
And it's the
whole
kind of
story
development
on
that
yeah.
neighborhood can digest too, because there was a previous,
The other proposal didn't go.
there's a previous proposal there that was not something that was welcome, especially right across the street from an elementary school, but, yeah, so there's some things that the neighborhood is looking forward to.
I think it's very creative as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it works out.
All right, any other questions or comments, or do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay,
No, I didn't.
Any opposed?
Yeah, I'm opposed to this. I just don't like the numbers.
Motion carries 5-1 today.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We'll follow up.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Excuse me, sorry, the smoke is getting to me. All right, next item of new business, I believe, Randy, we had a memo from you about this consultant funding request. Do you want to speak to this? I don't know if it made it in that memo.
Yeah, so we are, giving serious consideration to, the city, I should say, is giving serious consideration to submitting a proposal to the state, through the New York Forward program, which is kind of a mini version of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. And it's the process itself is extensive and requires a lot of staff resources, which we, of course, don't have. So the proposal is to get this board to support us issuing an RFP that would get a consultant on board that would help us through that process, and to put our best foot forward in terms of being a competitive application. I had outlined in the draft RFP sort of things that we'd be looking for from the consultant. The timing of this is a little, we're not sure the exact timing because the new guidelines for the program haven't been published. But I have talked with the regional director of Empire State Development, who says they're forthcoming shortly. And I wanted to get this board's approval on this as quickly as possible so that we're ready to go when they're ready to go. We'd expect to get a quick turnaround and get the consultant working quickly in time that we anticipate the application would be due sometime in October and November. I have no sense of what this might cost. Maybe, Danae, you have some past experience.
Would it be covered by the grant, or is this?
No, I don't believe so. This is just part of, as I tried to articulate, part of our mission to support redevelopment of a major investment area, which is northern Lansingburg. It was identified specifically in the comprehensive plan. I had shared that just so everyone could sort of see the bigger picture blueprint. The New York Forward application is just is a way to take that blueprint and really put some meat on the bones for getting projects, sponsors to do the kind of projects that would meet the letter and spirit of the plan.
Is the $4.5 million the total we could get, or is the $4.5 million the total that the state is budgeting statewide? I know that's a silly question because it's a ridiculous-looking number, but
That's what we could be awarded.
we
Right.
could get up to $4.5 million.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to note, so since this is supposed to be for North Lansingburg, is it a typo that it says they're doing a downtown assessment?
I don't think so. I think that one of their objectives in New York Forward is to take an area, an investment area, that could sort of serve as a mini Main Street kind of area. I think that's what their state's objective is to redevelopment as a sort of a mixed-use area. Does that answer your question?
No, so they're not focusing on what we consider downtown Troy.
No.
So it's a downtown North Lansingburg, what they're referring to, that's what,
Oh,
That,
well,
that was my reading.
yeah. Okay.
Their focus is on downtowns, because that's their downtown
Creating a
revitalization.
Creating a downtown.
A downtown revitalization initiative, but then the New York Forward is like kind of a mini version of that, where it's, if there are other areas of an urban area that can be, developed along the lines of a downtown, then that you would go to that program. And each community decides what's the area that we'd like to do that for.
Mike, wasn't it like that in the past in Lansingburg?
Yeah, like right around 116th to 118th Street, there's, it's like a storefront, like you're talking about,
A
like
row.
convert aisles up to where they're currently constructing
like a
a new
mini
fire
downtown.
department. It is. Well, it's not.
Not anymore, but, yeah.
It's all dilapidated now, but most of it. I'd be curious to see, just a thought in my head is if they're gonna shift away from that and make it more north, the downtown more north of that area instead of that area,
Maybe we should say uptown.
uptown.
Well,
Okay.
I'm
So,
just kidding.
No, I
Yeah, I
get
understand where
your
you're coming
point.
yeah,
I get your
yeah,
point,
clarification, because,
It is
you know,
Yeah.
confusing.
yeah, so for me, because if we're doing Lansingburg, then I don't want to see this going to what we consider downtown, because
Yeah.
downtown gets enough investment.
Right.
If it's a newer area defined as the center for the Lansingburg, you know, then
That's
what are the boundaries, you know, are we going down to 103rd,
These maps are all-
101st, because that's, you know, part of Lansingburg as well.
And these maps are all, like, part of this is down by the Hannaford.
Yeah, that's the 126th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the target area.
Okay, so we have an intern, Samuel, who's been really, just as like preliminary steps, we kind of look at what a target area could be, and if the gateway coming over the bridge a little bit north, a little bit south, and a little bit up Northern Drive. So it's kind of like a tight but sprawling target area. It's just a preliminary, so, and the grant is intended for it to be heavy with, involving the community and the public, so that's really what the consultant would be needed for, to help facilitate those meetings, gather information, a little bit help us just with that portion, because it's pretty important as part of the application.
So when does the application have to be submitted by?
The fall,
Oh.
hasn't been announced yet. We're just trying to get ahead of it, so
Yeah,
that we're
yeah.
not behind it, like.
Okay.
And the,
It's my new thing.
and the IDA will be, solely, responsible for making the decisions as to, you know, how we move forward. 'Cause it's saying that the city through the IDA is applying for this money.
The city has to be the applicant. The IDA will help from the consultant.
So the city's making the decision, not the IDA.
The community has to.
Yeah, we're a supporter to the city in this case.
You can definitely be involved, 100%.
I don't think you have a volunteer.
Yeah, the community has to input, and they actually have to review the application before it's submitted to make sure it's what they want to be in the application. So it's very community driven.
So it's like a board kind of thing from the community, like key speakers, key communicator kind of thing. This isn't gonna go out for like a referendum vote or anything like that, right? It's just gonna be some folks that get together and say, this looks good based on all the
Sound
info
like
we're getting.
more like how they had the charrettes for the other,
It's just like
yeah.
a DRI,
yeah.
It's intended for, originally, I think, was for like rural communities to get them, activated the same way they did with the DRI, but we're not, it doesn't necessarily have to be rural, it can be like another commercial portion of a smaller city, if that makes sense.
So,
Like not the downtown, basically.
Right.
who makes the decision on the, consult? Are you and Danae, or?
Well, we would get the RFP, we'd do all the administrative stuff,
Yeah, so
get
who
the
picks
RFP out, and we would review them all And if anyone wants to be on that review committee, that would be great. But then we'd have to come back and get with a
Make selection,
recommendation.
And then a contract will come to you with
Okay.
a firm budget.
Yeah.
This is just
Okay.
the first step,
I was just
really.
like, yeah, so it's our your responsibility to pick the consultant.
We'll make a
Oh,
recommendation.
well, yeah,
Make a
yeah,
recommendation.
yeah,
But
okay.
if we had a couple members on the review committee, that would probably be helpful.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, my neighborhood, sure.
Given the scope of research that would be involved in this, is it possible, that information seems like it would be valuable in its own right, regardless of whether we get or don't get New York Forward. Is it possible to spin it off into a separate report and ask for that as a deliverable as well? Just so that we're not walking away with basically an application that if it fails, then this is all dead and it's proprietary information or whatever. But a separate report where it's like, well, we might not have gotten the grant, but here's all the information we collected. It should guide community development in Lansingburg going
Yeah,
forward.
that'll
That'll
be,
still have part of the
Yeah.
comprehensive plan.
yeah, it'll be, there's a 20-page document that's part of the application. And I think that's what will be reviewed at the community meeting, to make sure that everything is wanted is in that report. But that is its own document, so.
And it's ours at the end of this.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
Yeah, we would own
We
it.
do have consultants where it's like, it's actually theirs.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, this is.
Okay. Like an
We'll
intellectual
make
property.
sure,
Yeah.
Justin does the contracts and make it clear it's ours.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And there'll be like a web page, either separate or on our website that'll, similar to the DRI, it'll be like a landing page with all of the details and documents.
Right on.
Any more questions, comments? Do we have a motion for the, RFP?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, that is it for new business. Do you want to go into executive session now to discuss Relevita?
Yeah.
All right, motion to enter executive session, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Will you be coming back in and carrying on?
We will, but we don't really have much
Probably
additional
close, yeah,
business.
yeah.
Yeah, so you
Shooting.
Mike, wow, you're on the ball, thank you.
All right, all we gotta do is adjourn the meeting, so we have a motion to adjourn.
Just one question, so the financials, are we just, when you get them, are you gonna send them to us, or are you just gonna,
We,
how are we gonna do that?
we will, or we could wait until next month, or, I mean, you might as well talk about.
Yeah, 'cause there was some
The
issues
big-
last month, yeah.
We're not an executive anymore.
Oh, okay, all right.
But there may be an executive session attached to the next meeting that deals with, our financial operations and perhaps an RFP. But I've given up the go here, but.
But the last pilot for 444 is in the works. That's the one you were asking about.
I think they
You
confirmed
weren't asking
payment
about
this morning,
pilot, you were
yeah.
asking about something.
Well, I was
Just in general, the balance sheet and the pro forma,
Yeah.
Well,
we don't have it in front of us.
receivables, that's what I was, yeah,
Yeah.
'cause there was some issues on the receivables,
I
yeah.
think the last one that was outstanding is on its way in, the pilot,
Okay.
so that'll be,
Yeah.
for 444, that'll be good, probably.
Okay, all right.
But if they send financials, I can still send it around, even though we didn't talk about it in the meeting, and then next month they can do it,
Okay, all
fill in
right,
all the gaps.
okay.
Alright,
Yeah, yeah.
do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, thank you, everybody.